Okay, so this video is going to be a bit of a follow-up to the previous one. Previously, I took a sea moss down the Blood Kelp Trench to show you how to get to the Tree Cove. Today I'm going to take a Cyclops down there. A little bit trickier maneuvering, but it's the same basic principle. And then we're going to go ahead and build a little charging and scanner base down there using a thermal plant. It's a nice safe area to do that, and there's some important resources like nickel down there. So let's get started here. As before, you're going to come more or less to the southern edge of this section of grassy plains and kind of follow it to your right until you see the beginning of the Blood Kelp Trench. It does meet the grassy plains right around here. You're going to want to use your cameras quite a bit here because, especially as you're descending, you need to see what's below you. The Cyclops does not turn on a dime. You see right here is where the trench meets the grassy plain. We're going to turn and follow this trench. You don't have to start descending right away. What you're looking for is the place where the trench kind of branches off to the west, which will be to our right. We're heading south right now. And I'm going to show you probably everything you can do wrong with the Cyclops down here. Bang into stuff now and then. Like that. If you haven't been down here before, it's worth going. Lots of resources. Stuff like quartz, rubies, uraninite, and blood oil. You have to watch out for the warpers, but that's about it until you get far enough down to see amp eels. It sounds way scarier than it is. Okay, let's see. We're going to follow this trench off to the west now. Yep, and continue descending. Also in this vicinity there is a wreck that sort of spans the trench. You can find a few good resources there. The actual entrance to the Lost River is going to be down at about 600 meters. We're still only about 5. I see there's part of that wreck up there. Hold on half a sec. Easier to see what you're doing when you're diving in dark places. Just turn off the interior lights. Yep, here we go. Down at the floor now, and off to the right there is the cave we're looking for. Going to be bearing north. Now, one thing I like to do, and I recommend this if you haven't been down here before, is to go ahead and make a couple of beacons. Oops, where did I leave it? You don't want to bring everything you need to build your base because your surface level resources aren't available down here. I like to mark the Lost River entrance, and then I'll usually put one down in the actual Tree Cove. Just makes it a little easier to get around in here, especially when you're coming back out with the Cyclops. There's a couple of places where it's easy to take a wrong turn. apart from some amp eels, which will very rarely aggro on the Cyclops, about the only other bad thing down here is a couple of crab squids that you'll pass off to your left over there. You can theoretically fit the Cyclops through that little arch there. There's usually no good reason to. So I'm not gonna demonstrate that right now. Of course. Yeah, you see what I mean about this keel cam coming in real handy. Once you're in the Lost River, you'll see a fair few gel sacks. Close to those vents down in the brine pools there, sometimes you'll find crystal and sulfur. I don't recommend going after it at this stage. You can get it easily with a prawn suit, but it's easy to kill yourself going after it without one. Now, once you see that first set of bones there, you're going to continue on straight, and from here, just keep that cave wall on your left and follow it down and around. The worst thing, yeah, there's some river prowlers over there, but they won't bother the Cyclops. There is a ghost leviathan way off that direction, but you're not even close enough to hear him. So this is a very safe path for the Cyclops. There's ghostweed down here too, which, not to spoil anything, but you do need a little bit of that in the late game. You do have to kind of watch your depth. With a Mark 1 depth module, the Cyclops can get down to 900 meters, which is enough to get you into the Tree Cove. And then the nice thing is that in the Tree Cove, there is nickel, which you can use to upgrade your depth module to get down to the next area in the inactive lava zone. You need about 3 nickel for that, and I want to say about 4 for building rocket parts later. I remember off the top of my head if you need it for anything else in the game. But so we're here. It's safe. I'm going to pop out and drop a beacon, and then we'll start building the base. Let's see, we're going to want the thermal plant first. And you can add other stuff to this base, but these are going to be kind of your core components. The thermal plant, the scanner. The scanner is not even strictly necessary, but it's really helpful if you don't want to spend a bunch of time hunting for the nickel, because it tends to hide around the edges of the brine pools down there. Also add like a multi-purpose room. You can add some grow beds. Sometimes I'll grow a little extra kelp down here in case I need rubber for something that I forgot to bring. You can see there's deep shrooms down here. You'll take a little thermal damage when you get close to the vent here. It's not a big deal, especially if you have the reinforced suit. Oops. You can bring a transmitter if you don't want to build your base quite as close to the vent here. It's not strictly necessary.
Power restored. All primary systems online.
Oops, that's not where I want that. Oh, come on. Okay, she's not going to cooperate with us. Fine. I guess given the base is starting hold strength, the foundation isn't even strictly necessary either, but it's up to you. I always build one just for the heck of it, for safety's sake. I have to go back and grab the rest of that titanium.
Welcome aboard, Captain. All systems online.
You don't really need all of it, but
Welcome aboard, Captain.
if you haven't built a scanning room up on the surface previously, you'll want to bring enough stuff for the HUD chip as well, but you can reuse your range upgrades. So we got plenty of base power. And let's go find some nickel ore. Take just a minute to start showing up here. If you're impatient, you can start looking around down here. Like I said, along the edge of these pools is where it tends to show up. If you forget to bring enough rubies or whatever for the aerogel you need to build the power plant, you can easily get that down here at least. This blue brine, unlike the green brine up above, the blue brine is safe. One other thing to bear in mind is that your sea glide runs a little bit slower at greater depths. Not a ton, but enough that you need to take that into account. Especially if you're not running the ultra high capacity tank. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this off. Alright, show you one last trick and then we'll close this one out. Let's see. Oh, two last tricks. I'm going to go start these charging. Forgot to build my power cell charger down in there. That, more so than the scanner, the power cell charger is kind of the main point of a base down here because it gives you a halfway point to recharge your power cells going down or coming back up with the Cyclops. up until you get the thermal module. Okay. Now, you're okay to take out the depth module for just a minute while you build the upgrade. Let me double check that I have everything I need here. Oh, right. There we go.
One. Maximum depth reached. Hull damage imminent.
Alright, now you're good to move on to the inactive lava zone and get the resources you need for the next depth upgrade. That's it for this video, and I plan to follow up with another one as I take it down into the inactive lava zone. Stay tuned.